Hey, welcome back. To start this video off, I just want to give a big thanks to everyone who's subscribed. I recently just hit 100 subscribers, and I think it's already above that now. So I just want to say thank you to everyone. I really appreciate it, and I hope I can make more content that you like. Anyway, on to the video today. Recently, I feel like I've been looking at a lot of team-based maps. You know, the kind of maps where one team has a base and the other team has a base. Usually this works for games that have like attack and defend modes or capture the flag game modes. And I talked in my previous videos a lot about symmetrical maps and how big of a fan I am of them. I like knowing that each side of the maps are equal, and then if I learn one part of the map, the other parts of the map will be very similar, if not exactly the same. So I figured, hey, why don't we try and make another map again? Now this won't be in Halo, which I really wish that it could be, but I am working on that. It's taking me a little bit of time to figure out some of the Halo stuff, and I do want to make a video of making a Halo multiplayer map, so don't worry, that is in the works. But we're still going to be making this map in the Source engine, more specifically garry'smod. Now I wanted to take a lot of inspiration from Halo maps, because that's kind of what this idea came from, but I also was thinking about Source and Gold Source games that have team game modes. And I was thinking a lot about Team Fortress Classic and Counter-Strike, but really when I looked into it, Counter-Strike's maps aren't as over the top as I wanted this map to be. I feel like the point of Counter-Strike is to kind of be more in the realistic side, where something like Team Fortress is a lot more over the top. Now don't get me wrong, Team Fortress Classic has some pretty grounded maps. I know TFC's Avanti is a very grounded map, and it almost looks like something that could be in Counter-Strike, but that kind of makes sense as, I think for a while, Team Fortress was kind of going to be Valve's serious military shooter, but then it eventually just got goofier as the games went on. I wanted to look at something that was a little bit more over the top than just a random desert map. I mean, I really like the random desert maps, but I wanted to go for a more avant-garde, abstract level design. But then I took a look at TF Classic's 2 Fort, and I thought that was perfect. It's this strange industrial area with a bridge connecting two bases, with just concrete walls boxing it in. I don't know, I just feel like it's one of those classic maps that when you look at it, it doesn't give a lot of context to what it is or where it is, but it's just kind of a unique area and space to play in. It also has these waterways that you can like swim through to get to the other bases. That's pretty out there, as I don't know how much fun it would be to try and shoot each other while swimming through tunnels, but hey, it is unique. It also has a lot of concrete corridors, which are pretty generic and don't really add anything, but I think when trying to look at the level design of this map, it's important to take in the small details. I feel like we've all seen a Gold Source hallway, but to make one is a real challenge. So yeah, I definitely just wanted to use TFC as a big inspiration, but also, like I said earlier, Halo was going to be a big inspiration for this, and that's why I wanted to take a closer look at Battle Creek. It definitely has that same vibe of two random bases in the middle of nowhere for no reason, but it's way more like lush and filled with more natural textures. The only concrete in this map is the bases themselves. It also has this level design of kind of funneling everyone into the center. The bridge on 2 Fort is just a crossing for people to get from one to another, but in Battle Creek you can really hide and duck into these rocks, and from my memory that's where most of the fighting took place. I like the idea of having structures in the middle of a map that kind of give you some cover and incentivize you to kind of push towards the middle. So after looking at these two inspirations, I think I was ready to start blocking out a map. So here's kind of my first semi-attempt. I basically just copied the layout from Battle Creek. I knew I wanted two bases with a creek in the middle, so I made two little structures that I knew I'd flesh out later. Then I added this indentation to kind of mimic the creek, and I knew I wanted a lot more natural rocks, so I added these weird formations above and below to give some height variation. I think the coolest thing I added to this map were these little sideways that act as flank routes. I always liked the side caves and stuff on Blood Gulch, and the idea of ducking back behind the rocks and flanking your enemy is always a fun idea. And they lead into this kind of concrete room which puts you back right in the center of the map, as I feel like it's important in an arena shooter game to have the accessibility to get right back in the center of the map. That way if you're caught out in the open and you need to duck behind cover, you have an easy path to follow to get right back into the action. So yeah, that was kind of my first attempt at this map. I wanted a lot more height variation and obviously just to flesh it out a lot more, and I knew I needed way more cover, especially down by that creek area. I mean, taking a look at Battle Creek, there's so many rocks down by the water. I also just love this giant rock arch. It's just fun because you can interact with it and jump on it. I kind of get a drop on your enemies, and they incentivize you to go up here because there's a rocket launcher. Anyway, so after looking at some more maps, I made another revised version, and here it is. You'll generally notice that it just has a lot more detail, as I worked more hard to kind of give it a lived-in feel. But some of my favorite parts are this bridge that goes right across the creek. I feel like this kind of incentivizes people to use the different height variations a lot more than they otherwise would. It also just has a really cool industrial look to it, the kind of contrast from the red rock that surrounds it. I'm also really glad I just got to put water in a map. I really like water in maps maps. I also kind of put this hanging thing between the two rock structures. I feel like it blocked more of the map off and made each section feel more special. Having it wide open just made it feel kind of like one big block room. Other than that, I put some cargo containers on the banks of the creek-like ditch. I don't know, I just felt like these broke it up a lot, and you also could kind of jump on them, and they create access to other parts of the map that weren't there before. I thought about putting boxes there, but I'm kind of a sucker for giant industrial hardware just kind of left around. I didn't really change the flank routes that much, as they were kind of perfect the way they were. I just kind of fixed the lighting up in them and made sure they were accessible. I did add little bridges to the top of the bases on each side. Again, that was kind of just the purpose of accessibility. For the bases, I just made some hallways that all linked in together. I wanted to make sure that if someone was shooting you in here, it was easier to duck behind cover. It's a little more cramped than I would want it to be, and I think eventually I just want to make a map that's all concrete corridors and see how good I am at making them. But I think this works really well. This isn't really a place that you want to stay, as it's pretty closed in, but it has great access to the roof, and you can get to pretty much the rest of the map from there. So yeah, that's basically the whole map. This one felt a lot easier, and I think I've been getting a lot more practice making these videos. It was really fun to make something that was more symmetrical and just more team-based. I really didn't get to try any kind of capture the flag mode on this, so maybe in the future I'll set up some kind of game mode where that's possible. That's kind of why I make these maps in garry'smod, because I know there's a lot of different things I could attach to it to maybe do some stuff in the future with them. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this map. I tried to show more of the final results of what I was making, and the kind of in-between parts of me making it in the editor. If you prefer that style, leave a comment and let me know. I just wanted to condense it down more and let everyone see the map before I show them a complicated editing program. But hey, if you guys want me to go way more in depth, I can totally do that. So thanks for watching this video. I hope to make more content soon. Thanks for 100 subscribers, and I'll see you later.